closing with another quote: "If you care and seek to collaborate, you will transform your community. And we do not have time for you to feel prepared or worthy. The cult of individualism has damaged our communities for too long." Um, I think that's, it's a really important thing to understand, that even seasoned organizers don't feel like they have the same feelings as you do, right? When you're organizing your first one, when the first person is organizing, or when you're organizing your first one and you're thinking everything that's going on, the person organizing their 100th is going through a lot of the same, oh, I didn't do this well enough. Oh, I wish I would have had more time to do this, right? And until we build the mass movement that can support us, we're always going to we're always going to feel that. Once we build like a cohesive, functioning, growing, vibrant movement, then you can then as an organizer you go, well, I did my job and I know everyone else did theirs too. And a lot of that goes away because it's not all on you and all on that. And the urgency is, it was former Green Party vice presidential candidate Rosa Clemente who said the Green Party is the imperative, right? If we all got in, if we're talking, this is the 80s or the 90s, we might have been, someone might be able to sell the Democrats slow change on climate, but we don't have time anymore. So, same for economic inequality, same for nuclear, war, same for, racial discrimination and police violence, right? We don't have the time for the slow change. That time passed and we decided not to do anything with it. So, that's just kind of, organizers just start going.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I'd mentioned on the previous slide, that was exactly how I felt when I started, that I didn't feel prepared or worthy. And I was new to the Green Party. I was new to organizing, and I didn't know any of it. And I felt like, well, maybe I shouldn't really be doing this. And it scared me a little bit. But at the same time, I felt like, well, we have to start somewhere. We have to start doing things. And so I helped organize events. I helped organize our local chapter. And, people came in and got involved, and it grew. And it was exciting every time you saw people come in. And part of the reason I'm a national co-chair now is because I started locally, brought people in, and those people got more involved with the state party. And, you kind of work up the chain. And that's just how this sort of thing goes, that, don't let that stop you, that we all feel nervous about it. But there is no checklist. There is no answer. There's nothing I can hand you and say, here's the way to fix all of the problems we face in society. Nobody knows the answer. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, right? Nobody knows the answer yet.
If someone says they know the answers, you need to run fast away from that person.
Nobody really knows. But what we do know is, like I said, we know what our values are. We know what the Green Party stands for. We have a whole list of hundreds of years of socialist activism that we can draw from for inspiration on what works and what doesn't work. And we have all these organizing tips that we've learned from different things that we can draw from. So we don't have an overall answer, but we have a lot of really good answers on how to get started. So, don't feel like it's beyond you. That get started now, get started doing things, start small, build your way up to it. And as you get those early wins, you'll plan bigger events. You'll bring more people in. You'll learn from other people. You'll learn to be a better organizer. And we'll keep growing from there. So, don't let it make you, don't let it scare you.
It's like the field of dreams. If you build it, they will come, right? And I can say, from talking to people, from, I one of the reasons I wasn't popular with the bosses when I worked for the community organization was because we did more deep canvassing than we did, one directional advocacy. So those conversations, people are ready, right? People see the bullshit that's going on with the major parties. They're ready for a new path. They're ready to get involved and be empowered. We just have to help build the foundation upon which we can build such a mass movement, right? We need to learn solidarity, right? If you feel overwhelmed, find other groups in your neighborhood, in your community that you can partner with, right? There was a long time where we had like 4 groups that were on every single protest we did, right? The Green Party was on it, Socialist Party was on it, Redneck Revolt was on it, and we'd pull other people in. And it was the same few organizers behind every one, but by bringing in these allied groups and saying, we're not going to fight over members, we're not going to fight over turf, we're going to come together in solidarity and support each other. We talked a lot on the socialism one about multi-tendency and multiple, strategies for doing this work, right? We need to support others. We need to find people who can, organizations and people like that in the communities that can partner with us as we grow, right? And then when one of us figures something out, we can talk about lock and step, right? But right now, every single left group in the United States goes into an election and comes out with less than 2% of the vote, and the Greens were 1.5 of that, right? So none of us are performing and have shown material results to say lockstep. We need to be looking at collaboration and solidarity. That's what left unity means in our phase right now. It doesn't mean forming, a mass Syriza group, because we don't have the mass yet, right? We need to all keep doing our work. And we mentioned earlier the scope of overcoming capitalism, right? We need people working here and there and there and there and there and there and there. And if different organizations are focusing different places, then we're engaging with capitalism on multiple fronts, right? And we should support that work. And it's why we need, and one of those fronts, not all of the work, but one of those fronts needs to be the electoral realm, where we can try to exercise some political power. So, like Garrett said, getting started, it's really, really stressful, and it seems overwhelming, and you've just got to take it a bit at a time, because it is overwhelming. The scope of the problems, the crises that we have in this nation and the world, are mind-boggling.